In today's Blox Fruits video, I will be showing you guys the top 5 best swords in every sea. These swords are picked on the basis of 3 categories: damage, combo potential, and difficulty. So yeah, let's get right into the video. Starting off with the first sea swords. Number 5, Trident. I am pretty sure a lot of you guys will not even know about this sword. But anyways, this is the first move right here. It's quite similar to the Spiky Trident actually. And of course, look at the damage. It does 4500 damage. And this is the second move right here. The second move actually has pretty bad range, so it's not really that strong. But the first move is actually pretty decent. But if I'm being honest, there's no need for you to use this sword. Like, if you want to fill up your inventory with cool swords and stuff like that, then I guess you can go ahead and get your hands on the Trident. But other than that, there are so many better swords that you can use. Number 4, Bipe. This beautiful looking sword right here. I'm not gonna lie, the developers really cooked with the models. Anyways, here are the moves. This is the first ability right here. Pretty cool. And this is the second ability right here. And the second ability actually has some pretty good range. And of course, with high damage like this and pretty solid moves, I definitely had to include this into the list. Number 3, by Sento. This bad boy right here. And just look at this sword, man. It looks so freaking clean. And just look at these moves right here. They are super easy to use. And if you haven't noticed already, they do tremendous amounts of damage. And I'm not even kidding, even compared to the swords in the third sea, by Sento has extremely high damage, and overall it's definitely a pretty solid sword. Number 2, Soul Cane. Everybody knows about the Soul Cane, but let me just give you guys a quick little rundown. The first move basically stuns your opponent in place, which is very strong for doing combos, and the second move is basically useless. But just like I said earlier, this sword is very good for doing combos, and you can just stun your opponent in place and use whatever move you want. And overall, it's actually very easy to use as well. You just need to have a little bit of aim. So yeah, overall, it's a very cool sword. Number 1, Saber. Yes sir, Saber is definitely one of the strongest swords you can get in the first sea. And that's not just me yapping about the sword. The moves and the damage is insane. This is the first move right here. Wait, why is that damage so low? Alright, now let me show you guys the first move. This is the first move. Look at that. Crazy damage. And then this is the second move right here as well. And the best part is you can use both of the moves together to do an amazing combo, killing your opponent in 2 seconds. And I'm not even kidding, Saber is one of the most easiest swords to use in the game. So yeah, overall it's a solid sword. Alright, now let's move on into the second sea swords. Number 5, Ren Goku. Unfortunately, as good as this sword is, I cannot place it any higher than number 5. Anyways, this is the first move right here. It's basically like a dash which deals a lot of damage, and also it does some little burn damage as well. And now this is how the second move looks like. It's basically like a projectile which also does a bunch of damage. And plus, you can hold down this second move right here and it does this big little flame thingy, which you can also use in a fight to deal a lot more damage. So yeah, second sea is definitely starting off a lot more stronger than the first sea. Number 4, Midnight Blade. This sword right here. And I would say this is definitely a very underrated sword. And this is the first move right here. Look at how cool this is. And also look at the damage. And here is the second move right here. It's pretty similar to be honest, but the best part is you can use both of these moves one after another, which means a super easy combo. Just like the Saber sword, this sword is extremely easy to use and it annoys your opponent so much that they are basically forced to rage quit. And I'm not even kidding, it's broken. So if you haven't given it a try, make sure to try the Midnight Blade. Number 3, Dragon Trident. This is probably one of the most strongest swords in the entire game. And there is no question about it, I definitely had to put this one in the list. Here is the first move right here. Look at that. Easy 5000 damage. And do not sleep on this move, it actually has pretty good range. But using this sword, you don't really care about the range, cause look at this second move. Look at how big that is. This is probably one of the most no-skill swords in the game. Like, you do not need any aim, you do not need any combo. Just pull out your sword, hit these two moves, and your opponent is almost dead. It's that easy. Number 2. Gravity Cane. Nowadays, Gravity Cane has basically become one of the strongest swords in the game. And let me just show you why. This is the first move, which basically pulls your enemy towards you, allowing you to do a sweet little combo. And then here is the second move right here. Look at that. And just look at this. You can pull your enemy in and automatically make them go up. It's so easy, man. Like, there are so many possibilities with this sword. It's crazy. So yes, Gravity Cane definitely deserves to be in this list. Number 1. True Triple Katana. This was probably expected, but True Triple Katana is definitely one of the strongest swords from the second sea. This is the first move right here. A simple dash dealing 6000 damage. And then here is the second move, which is pretty freaking broken. Look at that. And just like a couple other swords, you can basically use both of the moves one after another, doing a super good combo. So yeah, overall, True Triple Katana is definitely one of the strongest swords in the entire game, and in my opinion, the strongest sword from the second sea as well. Anyways, let's move on into the third sea swords. Number 5. Yama. This sword right here. Just like I said earlier about the Soul Cane, Yama is also a sword which can help you do combos in this game. And to be honest, it just makes your life a lot more easier when you're trying to do some insanely good combos. And especially if you are fighting somebody in the air, you can use both of the moves to dodge their attacks and just travel in the air, which might not seem like a big advantage to you guys, but this is actually very overpowered. And currently, you might have already noticed a lot of people are starting to use the Yama sword, since it's actually a pretty good sword. Number 4. Spiky Trident. And here we have the Spiky Trident. This is one of my most favorite swords in the game, and let me just show you guys why. The first move is basically like a dash which drags your opponent with you, dealing a bunch of damage. But the second move can actually pull your opponent towards you, which is insanely broken. The reason why this sword is so low on the list is because it's actually pretty difficult to use, and there are many ways people can counter this sword. But yet again, if you know how to use this sword, you can do some insanely OP combos with this. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys already know about the Spiky Trident. So yeah, enough of the glazing, let's move on into the next sword. Number 3. Dragon Heart. This is the most recent sword that got added into the game, and it's actually very strong. First of all, look at how cool this looks, and ignore the parts where it is not loaded in. But you know, it looks very cool. And let me just show you guys the moves. This is the first move right here. It's basically like a snake type of a thing, or a dragon, which does a lot of damage. And similarly, this is the second move right here, which is also very cool. And first of all, I would like to say that this sword is actually extremely easy to use, and plus very annoying for your opponent. If you know how to use this sword properly, you can cook up some amazing combos super easily, which you can use to hunt bounty and basically become a very good bounty hunter. But yeah, overall, Dragon Heart is definitely a solid sword, and I had to include it in this list. Number 2. Shark Anchor. This was to be expected. Shark Anchor is basically one of the most famous swords currently, and with all due respect, it's absolutely broken. This is the first move right here. You basically hold it down and you throw your opponent, dealing a bunch of damage. Then this is the second move right here. You basically dash and do a lot of damage. The main thing is, if you have a decent aim, you can basically use these moves super easily, and the moves are so strong that they can easily kill your opponent in the matter of seconds. And obviously you're gonna be using your fighting style or your fruit as well, since you can't just be using your sword. But yeah, I don't need to explain this sword any further. I think everybody and even their mom knows how the shark anchor works and how strong it actually is. Number 1. Cursed Dual Katana. The moment you all have been waiting for. This is definitely the best sword you can get in the 3rd sea. And let me just show you guys the moves. This is the first move right here. You can hold it and then you can throw your enemy just like the shark anchor. But the second move is what makes this sword super strong. You hold it down and you aim it and bang. Look at that. 5000 damage and you do a stupid little stun thingy, which you might not think is super strong, but it's actually incredibly strong. And let me just give you guys a quick little example. You can stun your opponent with Kitsune, go in there, then do that, do this, and bang. Easy one-tap combo. Like basically you can use the Cursed Dual Katana to help you stun your opponent into different combos, which is of course very useful and broken. And one thing I would like to mention is that there is definitely a learning curve. So whenever you start using the Cursed Dual Katana, you will find it very difficult to use. But as you get used to it, this will become a lot more easier and you will definitely be doing some insane combos super easily. So yeah, there's no question about it. Cursed Dual Katana definitely deserves to be at number 1 on this list. But anyways, that wraps up the video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you guys found this video helpful or enjoyed it even a little bit, please make sure to hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, make sure to join my Discord server down in the description as well. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.